Hi, my name is Patricia Forté. I am the writer of Waiting on Someday. And I've been a people person all my life. I've worked as a school teacher. I've worked with Easter seals with disabled people. I have worked as a social worker with abused children. And I loved it. For many years they asked me to work with abused children and I wouldn't work with them. But once I started working with the abused kids, I just loved them. They are so resilient. So I really understand how children can bounce back from whatever situation they're in. And I've also been a parole agent. But right now I am a writer. And I love what I'm doing. The first book I wrote was called The Cambridge Way. The Cambridge Way covers black theater from the Harlem Renaissance to the year 2000. I did this in honor of my best friend, who's no longer with us. His name was Ed Cambridge. He was a stage director par excellence, an actor, a writer, producer, director, but he was a stage manager from out of this world. So I wrote about the lives that he touched, starting with, we have Ruby Dee and Isabel Sanford, Marla Gibbs. He worked with all of these people, but this book covers the black theater. For most of them, it was the first time that they got on stage and what happened during their early years on the stage and how broke and how poor they were and how they shared each other's food and how they slept on the floor in each other's apartments just to get the show on the road. It's a wonderful thing. It's called The Cambridge Way. And another book I wrote is a recent book. It's called All Aboard. This book is about two ladies who are enslaved on a cotton plantation in 1859, Greensville, Mississippi. And they decide, one is very influential enslaved lady and the other is a reject. So these two ladies get together late at night in the slave quarters and figure out a way to help two young boys escape the plantation. The characters for this book came to me, they woke me up actually, and they told me about what happened in Mississippi in 1859. I listened and I jotted down some of the stuff. It was a wonderful story they told me, but I didn't write down the ending. And this is my advice to all writers. Write down whatever the spirit tells you. Write it down because it may not come back. So I couldn't get the ending, so I made up an ending. I just tied it up really nicely. The little boys, they escaped the plantation, all went well. The characters woke me up and said, no, it didn't. Many of our stories, we don't know how they ended. We don't know if they lived, if they died. We have not an idea. So I did some research on that, and I discovered that after the Civil War, the slaves, it was not a happy time for the slaves. It was not. They couldn't read. They couldn't write. They couldn't count money. They couldn't read the newspapers. They couldn't find their loved ones because the names have been changed so many times. Because whenever a slave is sold on the auction block, they take the name of the owner, of the slave owner. So they didn't know where their loved ones were. They didn't know if they were alive or dead. So these two ladies found a route to get these two boys out going south rather than north. And I will not tell you how the story ends, but you need to read the book to find out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pat Forté. Really appreciate it. You're a fantastic writer.
Thank you.